there. Welcome to your counseling session. It's great to meet you. Okay, perfect. So just tell me briefly why you're here today. What's going on? Is anything upsetting you at all? We've been getting a lot of that lately. Yes. Yes. Yeah, continue. Right. Would you like some water? Okay. I have tea, if you prefer. Oh, that's just fine. Yeah, I can make you some. Yes. Okay, so you're basically here for just feeling lonely overall. You're feeling kind of as if you're isolated. You're asked to stay inside, and it's just really bugging you out, I'm hearing you say. Okay. No, take your time. There's tissues right there. Take your time. And actually, if you ever need to get up for a bathroom break or something, there's the boiling hot water in the teapot over there behind you. Okay, so you could just grab your cup and take it with you. But I'll make some for you now. I'm writing a few things down together here. Sometimes we need that distraction, in our mind, even at a therapist or counseling office, I should say. We just need that distraction. Maybe sometimes it's too intense to talk about your problems, or it feels maybe uncomfortable speaking about your problems to a complete stranger, and so it's totally understandable. Okay, so yeah, so that's probably the number one reason people are going to counseling offices now, is because of the isolation, the division in ways of thinking, and people are divorcing at higher rates. People are losing friendships at unforeseen rates. And so there's just a lot of difference, and we're all asked to separate from each other. And it sort of feels like you're telling me, based on your experience of this, that you're just not used to this. You're not enjoying this at all, correct? Okay. You're used to being with your friends. You're used to hanging out with them, going shopping, whatever you guys do. Oh, you guys used to. They asked you to stay. Okay, I understand. So, yeah, that can be quite difficult, especially in moments where we feel we have the resources and we're still unable to help someone. That's okay, but that's very, very good that you do volunteer work. You bake cookies and you pass them out to people in need. That's very commendable of you, and I can feel your frustration right now as we speak about this, that you have the desire to bake cookies, to pass them out to people in need, and you just okay, and your friend knits scarves for them. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, so especially now during the cold season, you want to make warm clothing for people in need more than ever. And it's quite a challenge, especially when people are literally not only pretty much asked to stay home, but look at people now in Texas, for example, freezing in their own homes, and they have nowhere to go. You can't go outside. It's too cold. It's probably colder outside than inside, but inside is a freezer, the equivalent of someone's freezer in some instances. So that's awful. Yeah. Even just a refrigerator. You know, there's a story that someone said somebody was accidentally locked in a huge, one of those like refrigerated trucks or rooms, and they thought it was a freezer. They thought it was 0 degrees when it was actually only 36 degrees in there, and they passed away. They didn't pass away because of the temperature. They passed away because they thought it was too cold to survive. The mentality of it caused them to suffer. So during these times now more than ever, we need to be strong. And it makes you wonder, maybe some of those people that unfortunately didn't make it, that their heat wasn't working and they were in their own home. Maybe the mentality of thinking that it was too cold caused them. You know what I'm saying? Right, so, and this guy didn't have any blankets. I mean, people in their homes have blankets, you know what I'm saying? So, right. So I'm trying to portray this, although hard to hear, scene in your head. Our mentality is the strength of it all. Okay, I'm just taking a few notes based on what I'm serving, but I'm serving. Let me make you some tea, actually. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it is quite brutal outside. I have this is the only one, to be truthful with you, that we have here. This Taylor's Organic Peppermint, fresh and vibrant, caffeine-free infusions, so this should calm you down. Honestly, mint is very good for the stomach. A lot of times, people come in here and they have an upset stomach because they're crying about something, about some issues they're dealing with, and it can be hard on the stomach, you know. You tend to have an upset stomach after crying a lot, so yeah, it's a huge tea bag. Yeah, this should be just fine. Very tasty, actually. You can kind of smell it through the box. Yeah, it smells quite good, actually. Yeah, so do you keep in contact with those friends, or you do, and you're friends with them? You're not just working with them, volunteering. Okay. Kind of funny. Sometimes you get ideas just by reading something. We travel the globe to build strong, sustainable relationships with our suppliers. We invest in their farms and communities, working hard to make a continued difference to the quality of our tea and the lives of the people who grow it. Kind of reminds me of you. Investing in others, relationships with others. You know. Okay, let's open this up. Yeah, I'd like to take a little break in between just to warm us up. Oh. Yes, you definitely smell it now. Yes. You can smell the wafts of the tea. Yeah, it smells really good. Okay, so let's put this on. But since you can't see your buddies, I understand it can be hard. You're used to seeing them in person, socializing. You know, I jokingly say the introverts, and I mean not just people who call themselves introverts. The introverts. this is like the greatest time of their life. And I don't really have those coming to me because they're fine, you know. They can cope. And it's just a different wiring in the brain. You know, not that there's anything wrong with them. I mean, I am one myself, but I still see people in my office. But I mean, those who just really are used to being home all the time, they're basically thriving. I mean, I feel sorry for a therapist who only works with them because they have a dead business now. I mean, you know, before we were in an anxiety-filled world, and we still are, but for them, the world was a scary place, and now that they're told, you know, stay home, it's like, it's not so bad after all, right? It's like normal to them, and now that it's normal everywhere, it's like, oh, now I feel normal. And yeah, you almost see them stepping out the door more because they feel okay, you know? They feel okay being covered, you know, not seen. A lot of people with social anxiety, they like the mask covering, right? Because they are not seen, no one knows who they are, you know, they don't have to make a face or a mask, like a social mask, you know what I'm saying? Right. Well, here's your cup. There you go. Yeah, so, but you seem to be, would you consider yourself more extroverted, introverted, or a mix of both? Okay, yeah, that's understandable. And that's why you like working in those partnership kind of community environments where you can just be active socially. Yeah, that's like your normal. Okay. And so, what steps are you taking, perhaps, to interact with people? Can you give me clues or hints in your daily life? You don't have to go into an incredible amount of detail since we're new here with each other, but you can just share what you're comfortable sharing. Sharing is caring. Okay. That's enough information. Yeah, that's more than enough. That's fine. I get the gist. It's like text, email, phone, messenger. Right. Perfect. So, do you feel like that's the only way you can reach out right now? Okay. So that's your limit. Your mind is limited to that. This is the only way. Realistically, it is the only way based on where you live, and you cannot see or conceive of another way to reach out socially, correct? Okay, what about family? That's, you know what, that's fine. No, I understand. That's another day, another subject that will be a heavy subject. We're not going to go into that today. I don't like to blend different issues together in one day because it's just too much to bear, and then I find people walk out of here having learned nothing because now they're dealing with a friend, a family member. Maybe they're dealing with an own personal mental conflict in their head, all in the same day, and they walk out like, what did I just learn? What did I just understand? No. So we're going to just focus on your friendships and just socializing, okay? Forget the family conflict. Whatever personal issues you may be dealing with them is for another time, okay? All right. So, would you say that you miss these people dearly? And I mean truly miss them, not just OMG, I miss you, LOL. Right? We text them that sometimes when we don't really mean it. Okay, perfect. It's a genuine, authentic yearning for someone's company. Okay. Crave and desire their company. Okay. You know what? Honestly, the reason I take notes is because a lot of times people think I'm not listening. I've had this problem with friendships. People tell me, Tony, are you here? Are you listening to me? Because I'll be like, so what's going on with you? And then I'll do this. while you're talking to them. It's like, I need my space, back off. I may have known you for 10 years, but I need my space and back off. Like, I'm always like, and that's how I deal with it, you know. And as a counselor and therapist, I won't always get the mark on point, but, you know, we're all different. And so I think that's what makes us all special and unique, right? But, you know, and then people think like, oh, I don't really want to be around them, you know, for example. So I'm getting to my point here, and I'm saying that because basically you are telling me about your things here, and the reason I write it down is so that I look more focused and drawn and intentionally caring, because I used to come in here, no notes, nothing, my first clients, and they never came back, and I was like, why is this happening? And then I finally went back and decided to do a survey analysis and ask them, hey, can you just take 5 minutes to fill out this questionnaire? And in the questionnaire, all of the people, I think it was 20 people, said they didn't come back because it felt like they weren't being heard. Now, that hurt me. However, that got me to pull out a notebook and say, okay, look, I'm clearly multitasking here. I'm clearly doing other things at the same time. I may be drifting off into space, maybe interrupting them. And a lot of times when we sit in that silence and just to listen, we tend to interrupt someone speaking, especially if they're speaking for 5 minutes straight, because they're dealing with a lot. So the notebook helps me organize my thoughts so that I can remember what they said, especially if they keep talking, and so that I can interrupt them, pause them, and then continue where they left off. Okay, you notice that at every point you mentioned other topics, I wrote it down, and then I interrupted you when you were done speaking about it. So, the reason I'm saying all of this to begin with is because I want you to feel heard, and that's why you're here, okay? Just speaking with me and having someone listening to you. And again, I'm kind of trying to distract you. Do you see what I'm doing right now? I'm talking about maybe topics that are not related to what you're discussing, about your friendships and your loneliness and your isolated feelings. Because I want you to expand your mind and your awareness. I want you to really realize that there's more to life. You know, there's a lot of times we're like, oh yeah, I just went to a therapist's office and that's it. But did you really take in the lesson? Did you really take in the experience, you know? Why did I light that candle over there whilst listening to you? I wanted to divert your attention away from the problem, because a lot of times we tend to manipulate our minds to focus on the problem and that problem only. How about the blessing of being able to go to a therapist's office? How about the blessing of a warm, cozy environment? We're just talking about people freezing in their homes in the literal sense. And this is happening in our country. And we have heat all around us. We have clothes on our back. We have warmth. We have a cup of tea. Why do you think I interrupted you with a cup of tea? You know, a lot of times we have to realize that there's so much more we can do to take our mind away from the current feeling, because you may be asked to stay inside way more time than you can even imagine or conceive. What are you going to do to distract your mind off it? Light a candle. Come here, talk to me. I'm working on getting a Zoom call or phone call option. You know, we can do that down the line if it really is necessary. Get a cup of tea. And then all of a sudden you're like, what was I even thinking about, right? So it's a little trick. Even writing down, journaling your own thoughts, you know? So when you're feeling something, talk it out with yourself, write it down, and you'll just conclude answers in your head. So I wanted you, most of all, to come today to take that away from this experience, right? Take this away from this experience is what I'm trying to say, so that you go home and remember, oh, there's more I can do, you know? Yeah. Right. So does it feel overall better now that I've sort of changed your perspective? It's the simple things. Why do you think counseling offices always have a candle, or they have a relaxed environment? You know, you come in and you feel at peace, and it sort of takes you away, you know, and then all of a sudden I have people come back, like my repeat clients, come back and they're slouched in the chair and the couch, and they're like, I don't know why I'm here. I forgot why I even came. Because they're so relaxed. You know, they walk in with the lavender essential oil aromatherapy diffuser, and they smell the scent of a burning candle, of a wood forest, and then they're greeted by this Buddha statue and this waterfall fountain at the entrance, and the calm voice of the secretary. And you know, I told her to have a soft-spoken voice like this as well, and just by the time you even sit down, you just forget about your worries. You know, you go to the bathroom if you need to, and the even the hand soap, down to the details of the hand soap. It's really about mindfulness and taking your mind away from the problem, right? Right, so that, you know, I've seen therapy offices that are just, it doesn't make sense why people even work out of them. Like they look like a car dealership, and they don't even look like a therapy building. Like, you come in all stressed, you see someone like blasting rock music, and then they're like other offices, and it's too loud, and then you see the cleaning lady, and it's like, by the time they come in the office, they're like, oh my god, so I'm going with so much stress right now. Like, oh, I had to deal with all this noise, and then I had horrible traffic, and even offices that are by a street and a noisy, crowded, you know. So not judging any therapist, but again, do you notice I'm doing more talking as well? I'm kind of like really taking your mind off it. Yeah, so I think sometimes I like to say people need to treat their counselor like a friend, even just a little bit, because a lot of times we need to hear other people speaking rather than ourselves, and really listen and practice listening. Because when you are taking in all that information, you won't feel lonely. I certainly don't. I'm listening to 10 people a week sometimes, and I'm so filled with their wisdom and knowledge and their life experience that I feel satisfied when I go home. I'm like, yeah, this isn't so bad, you know, like loneliness just fades away and isn't really a thing anymore. And so, again, there's a point to everything I'm saying here. But I'm not just trying to make you realize that this is the greatest therapy office in the world. Maybe that was a joke, but there's probably better. But I want you to realize that, to look around and really see, you know, next time you come in this building, like maybe you didn't notice the things I was talking about, maybe you didn't even try out the bathroom, but immerse yourself in that experience, right? Because life is about enjoying. Life is not about always worrying or wondering about the next level or the next step or how you feel next. If we base our life off our feelings all the time, we would never get anywhere. Never. I wouldn't have opened my own business, right? You wouldn't probably have come here. You know, your feelings were probably conflicting with you. A lot of times people don't come because they just feel like they're going to be judged. They're going to have a negative experience. On and on we go. Right. So, now that I've addressed these things, is there anything else that you feel that you need to address? Or is there just a desire to just be? Yes, working on the mindfulness, correct. that's a good thing you can try. Yes, you can absolutely try meditation. Mm-hmm. Okay, if I can make just one, because I have to make at least one honest judgment or critique, just to kind of like empower you to grow and work on something, you know. I don't want you to just leave here feeling cushy and cozy. I want you to actually improve so that you don't ever feel the need to, actively seek out help in some way. You know, like the goal always at the end of the day is to get people to a place where they feel they're just content and more than content with life in itself, and that they don't feel like they need to work on something or need help. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the ultimate goal for all of us as evolutionary beings here. So, but I do see that you are still maybe a bit elevated shoulders, tense or stressed. Maybe that's how you normally are, but I think there's still a lot of layers to peel back here and work on it. It had something to do with family, I feel, because you brought it up to begin with. So we're going to make a mental note of that for our next client session, okay? So that is our time. For now, we're going to take a little break before we continue. There's the tea, like I said. Take a bathroom break. I'm going to go just sit here and meditate. That's normally what I do between waiting 5 minutes, 10 minutes for a client to come back, okay? So if you have any other questions, let me know. But yes, we're going to resolve those issues in future sessions, but we will continue discussing